folks? Well, we started on the coast on our way down, all the way to Virginia. And then we entered the swampy lands of the Great Dismal Swamp. And now we are going north, inland, to the center of Virginia. Welcome to Richmond. It's important to know that Richmond, Virginia, is the capital of the Old Dominion. And so buildings and architecture clearly reflect that this is a very old and cultural city. Richmond was also the capital of the Confederacy, the Confederate States of America. At least it was, because, well, the Confederate States of America are no longer a country. It was never considered a country. Just rebel states, that's all. Now, I'm in no way a fan of the Confederacy, never have been, never will, but I think it's important to highlight the Confederate history of this place, Richmond, so we can learn about how different cultures and societies work, what they value, not anymore, of course, but what these cities were all about. You know, instead of tearing down buildings, I think it's important that we learn from history, or else, like the saying goes, we're doomed to repeat it, especially in this scary time when it seems like the country once again is tearing apart. So this is the presidential mansion. This is where the president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis, resided. So as a result of the combination of the colonial history plus the Confederate history, it's no wonder why this place is a history lover's paradise to visit. You know, I thought Richmond, Virginia was some quaint little city. Turns out I couldn't be more wrong. As you can see, there's all these construction projects going, but there's a beautiful contrast from old to new. Once again, I'm surprised to see how modern this city looks. I'm walking in the middle of some big university campus. I guess it's like a medical school or a health school. I'm trying to look for these historical places, but they're sandwiched in between all these modern buildings, probably part of the university complex. My view on universities, it may be nice to visit if it has iconic architecture for some reason, but I mean, there are so many universities in this country that I'm not going to show you, oh, here's this university in this state, and here's this university in this region. I'd only really do it if there wasn't really too much to offer in a town or city. But there is a lot to offer in Richmond. That's why I've brought you all to what's known to Richmonders. Is that the demonym? Richmonders? I don't know. But I've brought you all here to what the people in Richmond call the Egyptian Building. Now, isn't that a wonder? It's this huge building. I don't know when it was made, but it's certainly gargantuan. Now, why in the world would people in Richmond decide to build a building in such Egyptian architecture? Well, I do know that in the mid-19th century, most of the country, or most of the high noble class of Americans, were almost infatuated with Egyptian culture. I mean, there's a reason why there's a city in Tennessee called Memphis, after the Egyptian city of Memphis. Maybe that has something to do with this building. I mean, it looks magnificent. I guess we could admire the architecture. There is so much historical architecture here in Richmond, and we need to see as much of it as possible for the sake of the coverage project. And I gotta be a little quieter because there's a nearby tour guide or a tour group, i.e. paying way too much money to look at the same things you could see for free. Like, seriously, we're at one of the most beautiful places in all of Virginia. And if there's such beautiful sights, you can see them for free. Don't be the sucker who pays a hefty amount just to be told a few extra bits of information you could look up on your own. I mean, the only reason I would ever see someone paying money, or someone should pay money, should is the key word, is if it's mandatory, just to access it. Otherwise, be your own free spirit. Look around at your own pace. See the things you want to see. And I'm really appreciative of this little garden that they have in the perimeter of the building itself. It just looks marvelous. I mean, that's the type of thing you'd expect to see in Washington, D.C., but this is just... that tree is obscuring the place. Oh man, this is just so exciting. A marvelous complex of buildings. Any sort of legislation, any sort of government work that happens usually goes through the Capitol building. Or some, legislative hall or whatever. But now you get to see, well, this is sort of the back of it, but now you get to see where the inner workings of Virginia are decided upon. Yeah, you can still see the remnants of the Confederate past here in Richmond. This is Stonewall Jackson, one of the most iconic Confederate generals in the Confederacy at the time of the Civil War. Nevertheless, the Union won, the Confederacy lost. So it's only fitting that the largest monument dedicated to a person is, well, the iconic Washington of the United States. Not the Confederate States, the United States. All of the states combined. Also, I just thought of this. Probably also because Washington is a Virginia native. So yeah, if we're celebrating Virginia's heritage, culture, and legacy, of course, put Washington on a horse. I think we've seen enough of the Capitol Square here in Richmond. But let's get down to the most cultural part of Richmond. Forget the modern skyscrapers nearby. Forget this, although beautifully designed, intentionally designed to look beautiful, the square. Let's go to downtown Shockoe. I think that's what it's called. But apparently there, it's gonna look really historical. I can't wait. Just construction. Forget the cultural and historical legacy. That's just the theme of this video, construction. Now I'm here in the alleys, and this is where people put their garbage, but maybe 200 years ago, it was a different story. People might have been walking to and from here, who knows? Old store signs with the paint, brick buildings, brick streets. Everything here is made of bricks. Whether it's stone on the streets, brick on the buildings. Some historical things are a little bit restored or renovated to keep up the tourism, but for the most part, what you see is what you get. We're actually right under Interstate 64. I guess people like having a good time around these parks. This seems like the party sector. Something about Richmond, which is just so colorful and lively. All the people seem happy. Richmond is beginning to be one of my favorite cities. I mean, it's already my favorite, hands down, capital city that we've gone to. on the coverage project. Yeah, this is amazing. I don't know why I'm walking by the garbage cans. Let's go someplace nicer. Yeah, this is more like it. A scenic walk right on the edge of the canal. So, what I assume to be, ooh, a nice echo. What I assume to be a historic canal is now turned into a great walkway for anybody who just wants a nice day walking with scenery all around you. No gondolas though, I think you'll have to travel to Italy for that. Spooky, huh? It's peaceful though. I love peace. Nice. We caught a glimpse of a nice train going through. And it just never stops. You know, I'm pretty sure Richmond, for the South, had a lot of industry. That was 150, 200 years ago. I wonder how much of it continues today. Anyway, welcome to the James River, or at least a fragment of it. There's a bunch of rocks and little islands in the middle of the river, but this is still the river. So the James River, it starts from the Appalachian Mountains and flows and flows and flows until it reaches the Atlantic Ocean. But it definitely has a major stop in the city of Richmond. It's definitely a beautiful sight. What you just saw, what I'm walking on, is actually a pipe. This trail of sorts is called the Pipeline. It's a fitting name. Honestly, I'm just gonna end the video off here. It's such a beautiful location that I didn't even know about existed until I went off the beaten path. So if you want a little bit of culture, a little bit of history, a little bit of fun and adventure, Richmond, Virginia, the capital of Old Dominion, well, it has a little bit of everything for you. So, walking on the Pipeline, right in front of the beautiful James River Rapids, more travels to come. I will see you at the next location. Oh no, I'm going back where the trail is.